Welcome to the Quantum Empath. I'm your host, Kelly Michelle, intuitive guide, alchemist, and reality hacker. This is a space where esoteric knowledge, ancient wisdom, personal development, and quantum physics meet to help you shift your frequency, break old patterns, and step into the life your soul came here to live. Let's expand your awareness, upgrade your energy, and create your dream reality, one episode at a time. Let's begin. I think the neurodivergence are going to be changing the world.
Absolutely are already, right?
I know. And so I just want to introduce you. This is Kelsey White, also known as the Quantum Barbie. And she has a website called Quantum Self-Discovery. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Kelsey, you and I have been buddies on TikTok for, I don't know, maybe this year, 6 months or something when we found each other. We both are quantum. And I just really love what you're putting out into the world, your conscious creations, and I see your light. And I just want to hear a little bit about your backstory. What put you on the path? What was your path like? And then where you're at now. So if you want to start there, share a little bit about yourself. Let's just dive in.
Yes. Hi, guys. Yes, I'm Quantum Barbie. Just so everyone knows. So Barbie can be an astronaut and a president and a lifeguard and this and that. And so that's kind of the Barbiness of it all, though I love my pink. And I'm a little bubbly blonde, as we can be everything. So my path will go through kind of from start to now, but it's always been this really holistic path because I feel very confident that I'm here to express so many identities in one. Like I can't be put into a box. But my awakening, I love to share because it's not the like, I was asleep and I had a crazy experience and I was awake type of awakening. I was a little sensitive kid and I grew up fundamentalist Christian. So I was in this like very conservative kind of fire and brimstone church, but I was so open and psychic that I could feel the energy of everyone. And I was thinking, this isn't love. This isn't the love that I know, and I don't know. And so I was always questioning things. My mom used to have to put a little stuffed animal outside of my door and pretend that a water bottle of water was like making it magical to protect me. So I suspect I was seeing a bunch of spirits and things at night, just flipping out. Yeah. So I was really psychically open, but I had little guides along the way. So I have a half sister that's about 13 years older. And so say I'm like 7 and she's 20 or something, she was watching those shows about mediums where there's a live audience and mediums channel. And I would just sit and watch with her. And I was thinking, yeah, this one resonates. This is cool. So I got exposed to sort of mediumship and the beyond and spirit in this way. That wasn't the fundamentalist Christian way. Right. And then I'm really just this like natural hippie. So I have this big dream that I'm going to move to San Francisco. I think San Francisco is going to be like it was when there was like the free love movement or something. I don't know. My consciousness clearly loved like the 60s, 70s time out there. So I graduated from college and I moved to San Francisco as soon as I could. I had like a little work program for a couple of years, but in my young 20s, I was out in San Francisco. I moved to Haight-Ashbury. And if you guys know what Haight-Ashbury is, it's like the cross streets. Haight, H-A-I-G-H-T is one and Ashbury is the other. And that neighborhood is basically where like the free love movement was really big. So I moved to that neighborhood and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a hippie here. And then it was like totally transformed and like a little bit different. But I went to go volunteer at a peace festival. And so it was just like yoga and breath work and just all these cool things. And I met some friends that were totally conscious, especially this one friend of mine that we became really close. We even dated out there. And I just like expanded my mind leapfrogging. Now this is probably 2013 or so. Yeah. So it's been a little bit, but I was hearing about Abraham Hicks and consciousness and chakras and energy and all the things. So I got like uber immersed in it, but it wasn't something that was shocking to me. In many ways, my soul moved to San Francisco to do this, right? I was like, I'm going to be a hippie there, right? It'll be cool. But along the way, I had this corporate job. I was in corporate real estate finance in very, very masculine conservative cultures, very formal environments. Much older men dominate that industry. It's very, very that. And a series of unfortunate or fortunate events, depending on how you think, I became a CFO in my 20s at a very big multi-billion-dollar company. So I had this like the Barbiness of it all. Like part of me was this like hippie. I'm very conscious. I'm very go with the flow. And then part of me is this very masculine boss, analytical leader that doesn't ever sleep, doesn't ever stop, goes, goes, goes. And so those parallel identities actually have always been with me. I did not lose my spirituality ever, but sometimes I was just so busy. I think I was just focusing on work a bit much. But around 2020, so we were talking a little bit before we pressed record about 2020 through now, I've been doing way and way more energy work. So I did my formal Reiki training and master training and have been doing sessions and learning to meditate more and regulating my nervous system more. And in the last few months, I launched Quantum Self Academy and have just been doing constant coaching, energy, spiritual work, and have kind of quantum leaped in a new way. So that's where I am now.
And you're glowing.
Thank
You're
you.
glowing. And thank you for sharing that. I do feel like it's interesting that the corporate world that you thrived in the corporate world. And the sense that I got was a balance of masculine and feminine energy in you, that a lot of us who are on this path are left or right brained. Mm-hmm. And it sounds to me like you had your brain fully operational early on. Mm-hmm. And that probably was due to the yoga and the meditation and the breath work and stuff that you were learning in those early years. I don't know, but I just see a turned on brain in you and a light and a glow and wisdom.
I have a thought about the masculine and feminine.
Okay, let's talk.
I have a twin brother.
Okay.
And I've always said, I think my soul conspired to incarnate and be in the womb with this other being, right? To always remember this balance of masculine and feminine. It's funny, I, in many phases of my life, held a little bit more of a masculine charge, and my twin brother held more of a feminine charge. And I think we're both integrating both, but it's a huge part of my soul identity to express both polarities. Yeah. So that's awesome insight.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I see that. And then the fact that in 2020, I think there was a whole wave of people who started a different path, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe there was a turning point. What route did you take in that time? Were you aware of like the whole thing that was going down, or did you go for it? I mean, where'd you go?
Yeah, 2020 was, collectively such an interesting time, right? Because there was so much suffering and also so much expansion. It was disorienting a little bit. I think I catapulted in 2020 because I had more time for the first time in my adult life. I was working still at a corporate job, but it was a commercial real estate company that owned a portfolio of hotels, and hotel occupancy was like 10%, right? Like no one's traveling. There was a bunch going on, but I was home. I wasn't commuting. The days were, confusing, but easier. And so I suddenly had all this space. And what I did was I just learned more spirituality. I was diving into so many podcasts and doing more formal Reiki training and books and just nervous system regulation time. So yeah, I noticed that extra space in my life, like my soul was like, all right, straight back to like elevating and quantum leaping right now. What about you? What happened for 2020 for you?
2020 for me was strange. I was in the process of growing my cleaning company. I was thinking about purchasing a car. I had an employee who was, at the time, she was walking all over me because I didn't have any boundaries. I was just doing my best. And so, there was a lot of stress around being a boss and a paycheck for someone, especially because she was a single mom with 2 kids. And so I was actually so freaking grateful when the world closed down and I didn't go to work for several weeks, 4 weeks or so. I was living in my low-income apartment at the time. I let my employee go. I just said, "Oh, sorry, can't afford you."
Yeah.
And decided at that point that I wasn't going to go back to having an employee. I decided I was going to, because I experienced the slow days, I decided to go back and only have 1 or 2 houses a day. And then I used that time as my school, my education. I've had 9 years of listening to podcasts of all kinds of subjects. And so I'm not one of those people who is really solidly grounded in any one area. And I think that's part of my manifesting generator. But I know all kinds of interesting factoids that I can tell people, go look here. Go look here. And so that's my specialty. I feel like I'm more of a resource than I'm an expert in a lot of areas, but I wouldn't call myself like a certified expert. I'm more just a deep researcher and deep diver, and I love learning. And
Sponge.
That's that little, that neurodivergent part of us that is going to change the world. So when you started resonating with the word quantum, what does that mean to you, and why did you incorporate the word quantum into your title that you use?
That's an excellent question. And that is our nice little synchronicity. So quantum to me is everything everywhere all at once. I know that's the name of a movie too, but just the reminder that there are infinite realities and there's infinite wisdom. There's realms beyond our comprehension. There's versions of us beyond our comprehension, all happening concurrently, right? We're incarnating backwards and forwards in time all at the same time. So quantum is important to me just as that reminder that this one little expression of our consciousness is just that one little expression of consciousness. But I'm a very hopeful, kind of optimistic, like Pollyanna vibe in some ways. And I'm like, I love the quantum nature of reality in that it is such a blessing and a gift that at any moment we can just leap to something so much greater, or everyone around us or anyone around us can become their most inspired, empowered self. And so I wanted to integrate that as a way for people to feel like possibilities are endless if they work with me, and that the work, quote unquote, could be fast, right? Quantum it's not adhering to like the 3D linear humanness. It's so much more advanced. And so I really fundamentally believe that magic exists and we are so powerful, all of us. We're our own little creators and gods. And so I don't necessarily adhere as an identity or development type of person to like, you got to excavate shadow for years and years before you could ever feel joy. It's like we can choose that today. So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so when I think of time, I think of time as a film strip. And that sometimes we have outtakes and we clip them out. And then sometimes we have repeat scenes, and that everything that we're choosing to create this now moment. And so I love the quantum aspect of reality creation, because I feel like whatever we put our energy, our resources, our thoughts to, we can create that thing, because we're compiling, kind of like what you would probably do in money, where there's, what's it called? When you're compound interest or whatever.
Oh, like, yeah,
You know, you're
compounding. Exactly.
so when I was looking at opening my wellness center, it was starting with a vision of what I wanted and then reverse engineering it into the thing that I created. And the space that I ended up finding is exactly what I wrote in my business plan, in the location that I wanted, with the big windows and the easy parking and the private bathroom and the big room and the little room and the sound healing room and the light, and everything about it is everything I wrote down. And so I had done a lot of manifesting. I was really good at manifesting the little things, and I wanted to expand my awareness and try and manifest bigger things. And so can we talk a little bit about money? And for someone who, you have worked in the financial realm of the 3D matrix and whatnot, what is your, because this collective that I tend to run with, we're like, I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up with money. I grew up with a lot of lack mentality, a lot of scarcity, and it has been my deepest wound, deepest emotional, generationally, probably karmically in my past lives. And Spirit has told me that in order to heal that, I've put myself in this really uncomfortable situation to grow and expand. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say I grew up poor. I grew up in an area with gangs. It was, maybe poor is crazy, but we really didn't have a lot of money, and it wasn't a super nice area. My family, my parents had quantum leaped their own circumstances, but their circumstances were like, didn't even have enough money to eat ever, like really problematic financial circumstances. So it's not that I have just never had the scarcity mindset. I actually believe that I only left corporate finance recently because of a scarcity mindset that I was working on for years and years, where I probably could have figured out my true purpose, heart path sooner, but I was scared of leaving my security. And so I've had to like square my chest and face that for a long time, and it wasn't natural to me. So some people think I awakened recently when I left my corporate career, and I'm like, no, it was literally that last scarcity belief system that I had to recalibrate. But what I think about money that I do think is differently than a lot of the collective that I roll with is I've started to find it more neutral, because I was in environments where people were making a lot of money. The people around me made a lot more money than I made, especially people that had been established in their careers for decades longer and were kind of the old school golf, cigar, boys club sort of way. And they weren't smarter. They weren't necessarily harder workers. They definitely weren't kinder as a whole. They weren't necessarily more savvy. They were just, there was nothing that differentiated them from all my other friends, of which I had extraordinary exposure to people that weren't in that world, like my friends. And so it started to just kind of like take the charm out of like, there's all these special, amazing skills you need to have money. Also, I was working in finance, in which sometimes big deals would happen, and some group of guys in New York would get a multi-million-dollar fee one day for something where they did nothing except introduce two people. And it just started to become so silly, where money just rolls around and you can print it, and governments print it, and you can invest it and it can go crazy all of a sudden, or you could go bankrupt. And the people that have it don't do anything differently aside from maybe their industry than the other people. And so along the years, I've just started to take the charge out of how money is this extraordinarily challenging thing to come across, and only the best and brightest of the world have it. It's like, just kind of, if you think you deserve it on a soul level, or it's for you, or it's evil. I didn't find as I got more money in my life, now I'm going backwards, obviously, but that's okay. I didn't find that anything changed in my personality. I didn't treat people differently. I didn't feel differently about myself. My lifestyle didn't change much. All that changed was I felt a little bit more safe, such that if something bad happened, that I could cover it with my savings versus not. And so that also took the charge out. It's like, when people kind of on a subconscious level, in some cases, correlate money to evil. And I was like, well, some of the people in my corporate life, there's like the spectrum of ego. Some of them have a ton of ego. Some of them have middle ego. And some of them had low ego. And we're actually really wonderful people. And then in like a spiritual community or something, there is a spectrum. For audio listeners, I'm making a bell curve spectrum. High ego, normal ego, low ego. And it just, all of the little beliefs we have about money just sort of evaporated over the years.
That's a beautiful insight. Thank you. What I saw when you were having that conversation, I'm sorry I keep sharing what I see, but I can't help it.
Go for it.
I think it's so interesting, but I saw you jumping off of the ledge of a building into your soft flow, magical, whimsical life that you're creating for yourself, where you stepped off of that corporate structure. And then I feel like I went from somebody who was in the service industry into a more corporate structure, if you will. Like I stepped into the 3D. But there was a lot of fear that I stepped through, but also knowing that I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to build relationships with people, and I wanted them to get to know me for who I am and not just the business side of it. I don't use hashtags, and I don't pay for ads, and I just do content. And that is really terrifying for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people who are telling me, the way they would do it. And so I have this silly little template idea that may or may not work. And I'm totally surrendered to the outcome, but I also feel like I'm meant to be a blueprint for how to do it differently. And last month on my Instagram channel, I had 11,000 views on my content without hashtags.
Wow.
Okay. I don't have that many followers. I have like 400 followers. But the fact that I'm getting that much reach is data for me to know that I am reaching people and that this collective is finding each other through our frequency, through our voices, through our beliefs and our drive and our desire to help humanity enjoy life more, get in alignment, do something that they love. Tell me where you're at with that. Because I know you're not doing this for you. I mean, you obviously have a life that you're building for yourself, but you're also putting yourself out there to help guide others.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Also, I think we're all doing it to just be our authentic self. You're certainly succeeding because you're authentic. You're not trying to find the perfect formula to get some payout, and I do think authenticity is the currency of the future. That's sort of proven astrologically too, the times we're going in. But yeah, I love the authenticity. No, I'm not doing it for myself. If I was doing everything for myself, I would stay in corporate.
Exactly.
And have made different decisions along the way in corporate to have so much more money, of which I did not. I personally love teaching people stuff. It's so fun to me. I actually had a podcast called Magic in the Matrix before. So audience, I also have a podcast called Parallel Paths. And my free time was so overrun almost with teaching people little spiritual things or doing energy work or just gabbing about philosophy of life that it's so easy and natural to just share information and want people to ascend and feel more empowered. That's interesting because even my podcast co-host, my other pod I kind of touched base with her after a little while about how much she liked podcasting. And she's like, oh, I don't really love podcasting, but I like sharing knowledge and this will get clients and stuff. And I realized that I felt so differently. I felt strongly that I just loved sharing knowledge. And so I do have the business savvy in my being to want, like, if I'm going to allocate my life force in this way, I want to just continue to feel safe in my own resources. But that's not the motivation. The motivation is just for people to learn more and be more holistically empowered. Yeah.
I love that. And that's why I wanted to start these interviews, because I feel like on the social media platforms, a lot of times we can really only say so much on a 3-minute clip. We can't really get into it with people. We can't really meet them where they're at the way that we can meet with them, meet them when we're working with them one-on-one, because everybody is in such a different place.
Totally.
And everybody's path is so unique and different to them that I see you and I see me as both women who are trying to assist others in finding more with their life. And yet I don't see you as my competition.
Right.
I see you as a collaborator, a coworker, a person who I am meant to help get the word out, and then let the people decide what feels good to them.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a reel this morning, and this girl, her message was amazing, but she was yelling, and some people love when people yell at them.
Totally.
Some people love a mentor who's like, so yell, that they're blasting their voice because they're so passionate, but that's too much for my nervous system. I need a softer, gentler approach. And so it's just fun how we all bring our own little unique gifts. And then you reminded me that you're also an astrologer and well-versed in astrology. And so you bring that to your clients as well, which is you're doing all the things. So you've got the energy, you've got the money, you've got the Reiki master, all that kind of stuff. And then the business. Girl, you are a complete package.
Thank you. That's Barbie, right? You gotta. It's also a true lifelong. Like, I'm a true lifelong hippie, is what I say. Some people have a story with the word hippie, so if you don't like that word, it's all right. But
I love that word.
Do you? Oh, good.
I think I would. I think I should have been a hippie. Actually,
yeah.
I think I was born about 20 years too late. Because I would have been a hippie in the 60s.
I feel like my consciousness in the 60s was a hippie and I was doing something cool. I just feel so attached to it.
Yeah.
But, I guess it's just because I love it all so much. That's the good thing about my career. I built my financial self from the ground up in a totally separate arena. And very early on in my life, I started developing my intuitive gifts and my psychic gifts and things. And so I got to just do it from a total love and joy-based place where I didn't need anything from anyone, like money or their time or them to be a client or something. I just wanted to learn astrology because it was dope. And I wanted to learn how to tune into people's chakras because that's cool. And I remember even in my Reiki master training, we had a little segment talking about how we were going to utilize these skills with our clients and things. And I was still working corporate at the time. And I was like, I'm just here for a good time. And my Reiki master instructor is just this beautifully wonderful soul Angelica. And she was like, I just love that in your spirit for you. Like, you're just very excited. And now, of course, I am doing that for money with clients and things now. I might still do some business consulting. And I would be interested if some people would find judgment with that. Like, you aren't doing your purpose job 24/7, but I love the business strategy part of my mind too. It's quite interesting.
Absolutely. And I think we also need to remember that we are here on this 3D Earth plane too. And the
Yeah.
multidimensionality of us is we're not meant to just stay out there. You can bring something really grounded and magical. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Thank you. I have received a little bit of, I wouldn't say criticism, but a little pushback from my conscious friends over the years, or maybe conscious community, maybe not my close friends. Like, why are you in this career? You could be doing so much more. And I always found that laughable. Do you know what magic I'm doing in these environments?
Right.
So first of all, to maintain my vibration and continue to expand my consciousness is awesome. I'm proud of that. When I was working, 80 hours a week in really dense environments. But B, I had fascinating conversations with people, spiritual conversations. I was never an in the closet spiritual person at these jobs. I was a total outlier. People would confide in me that they were interested in energy work or have me read their chart on a lunch break, or just interesting stuff happened. I did some healings on people on the weekends that like really changed things for them that would have never even been exposed to the concept without it. So yeah, it's everyone has their own path, and whatever your path is incredibly important to your gifts with other people. And so to the point on the woman with a loud, like kind of yelling approach. Someone wants a boot camp spiritual coach, right? Someone wants a spiritual coach like me that understands the pressures of a corporate environment. If they're some of my friends that have been in the spiritual world for their whole career, if these, say like a woman executive gets a total hippie that's like, grand rising, just stop, just believe. They'd be like, you don't understand my life, but I can understand what it's like to be in a boardroom and the types of things that happen from investment bankers in New York City for the 70th time at midnight. I understand what that's like. And I can advocate for a spiritually open self throughout that container, right? And you have your own perspective and vibration that's exactly aligned with your clients. And so, yeah, I think it's really important for people to just flow with what makes sense. And if I go consult, I very likely will go consult finance later this year. And I'll be interested in it. It's a cool community. It's actually a pretty conscious community they're building homes for, but I will think that's perfectly in line with my story too.
That reminds me, we had talked about the harmonic egg.
Yes.
As part of my goal, because I don't have advertisers and sponsors, I had gone out to a group of friends in the collective and said, hey, can I send you my house clearing? And you said, absolutely. And can you send it to my doggy too? And so I sent 3 house clearings to you. And it's been a minute, but can we talk about that?
I have thoughts, yes. By the way, shout out to my dog, Ollie. He's a pit bull rescue. He's the cuddliest dog ever. I actually set an intention and asked the woman coordinating some rescue from these shelter dogs. I said, I would like the cuddliest dog in America. And she, a few years later, saw pictures of us over the years and said, he might be the cuddliest dog in America. So shout out Ollie. Okay, here's what I noticed from the clearings. I noticed an obvious, on the days you did clearings, sleepiness / groundedness / contentedness in my being and Ollie's being. And so I wanted to talk to you about this. I run quite grounded. So for any listeners that like astrology, I'm a Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Venus. That's grounded Earth. I have a lot of grounded Earth fixed placements, but my energy flies up to my upper chakras really fast and really easily, and I talk really fast, and I have ideas, and I want to stay up all night and talk about them. The healings you sent just chilled us out. Is that a feedback you commonly get?
It can be, yeah, definitely. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
And so when I read your Bovis chart, which is the gas tank chart that I use for Life Force, you were vibrating pretty high, 15 to 16K. That's really high. The following week, you bumped up to 16 to 17. And then the third week, you bounced off the charts. My chart only goes up to 18,000, and you were bouncing off the charts. Your house, let's see, we started the house at 7 to 8. No, Ollie started out at 7 to 8K. He bumped up 9 to 10K. And then by the third clearing, he was vibrating at 12 to 13K for his life force. Did you see a change in him, energy wise, or anything like that?
He's got up. He's 12. He goes up and down with his like actual joints, but honestly, he and I both were just so crystal clear.
Yeah.
Crystal clear. Like he's a very psychic, advanced soul. In fact, I think he's way more advanced than me. Sometimes I'm
I love
embarrassed. I'm
that.
like,
Yeah, I believe it.
Do this. You're crazy. But yeah, what I noticed was like a quantum clarity. Very that.
When I had I had never tried the egg when I bought it.
Nice.
But I am a deep researcher. Again, conspiracy theorist and deep researcher and neurodivergent. And so I had done my homework. And when I first heard about the harmonic egg, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing, amazing. But there was one about 50 miles from here. And so I thought, oh, somebody's already done it. I can't do it. And then a friend of mine wanted to do it. And we started the path and she left. And I ended up just going forward on my own. And I'm so grateful. But the first session I had was in my own egg. And then six sessions, I was in this really magnetic, coherent, like, so for you to be starting out as somebody who is already vibrating higher than the average Joe, let me see. I don't know if I can find a picture quickly, but when you are vibrating higher than the average human, it doesn't take as much energy to then get that field coherence. So I'm really glad that you got the static off your channel. Yeah. Okay.
That was cool. That was cool.
So I'm glad. Thank you for that feedback, because when I started, I don't know if I've really shared this publicly, but the day I signed my lease, a second harmonic egg came to Reno.
Oh.
Yeah. And I freaked out for about maybe an hour. I knew that it was probably coming. She had been transparent about that, and I could have bailed, but I didn't. I decided to go full whoop.
Yep.
I decided to become one who worked with star seeds and lighthouses and light workers and way showers and the ascension, because really this thing works with the quantum field. Mm-hmm. And Spirit told me that the earth needs this. Mm-hmm. The world needs this. And as a conscious creator, I share it with the world.
Yeah.
I share it with the earth. I share it with the grid. And I go in every day and I run sessions sending out love, joy, peace, health, wealth to whoever wants to receive it. Mm-hmm. I call it my fake membership, but it's called my Coherent Collective, and I don't have any members yet. But I just send out the love to everybody who is open to receive. And so if you are one of those people who is open to receive, then you'll get clearings all the time. I send my love out to the quantum field.
Beautiful. How did you hear of the harmonic egg initially?
It was a podcast. Oh. And I don't remember whose podcast I heard it on, but I heard Gail Lynn and I felt like I knew her. I'm like, oh, I know her. But from a long time ago, like Egypt. Sure. Or she's also Syrian, and I'm from the Syrian. I've always shown my cosmic roots as Syrian, and then the egg is Syrian. And so I know a lot of us identify as ancient and cosmic. I feel like I've worked with this technology before in other lifetimes.
Sure, of course. It came to you in that way. I have a question about star seeds.
Okay.
So I very much resonate with the star seed concept. Really important to my identity. I think I have a lot of different star seed races in me, but it's very Pleiadian. Mm-hmm. In fact, sometimes my face kind of gets even more Pleiadian in a pretty interesting way. Like I model for fun. Quantum Barbie, got to have it all. And I did a photo shoot in a stream. It was a water gown thing. And the photographer was really chatty before, but as we were walking back to the studio, she was kind of quiet for a sec. And she's like, have you ever heard of Pleiadians? And I was like, oh, yes. And she said, really? And I said, yeah, absolutely. She goes, okay, because I've been visited by them, and when you got in that stream, you looked exactly like them. And I said, yeah, that tracks. That's so not surprising. And she said, oh my God, thank God. I need to get that off my chest. Like my face morphed to her Pleiadian visitors, I guess, in the photo shoot, which is pretty cool. Anyway.
That is cool. And it's funny how we have those synchronicities where we line up with people like that. Totally.
It could have just been a soul contract for her to believe her experience more.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
This was not a shameful thing to talk to me about, right? I said, of course I know the Pleiadians. It's so totally cool.
Yeah.
But my question is this. So I think it's important to my identity, the starseed Pleiadian stuff. It's a huge part of my consciousness, brings this Pleiadian energy through. But also, if time is just infinite, isn't everyone a starseed? How come some of us feel more attached to starseed identities? Or are some people literally not? Like they've just incarnated on Earth a bunch? Sometimes I go back and forth where I'm like, I care about being a starseed more than the average person by a lot. And I feel sort of that time's infinite and everyone's everything.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the question. I'll answer from my perspective.
Okay.
I've been working with... I originally, when I started my coaching, I decided early on I wanted to work with the starseeds and light workers.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was a new Earth architect. I just thought I was a way shower for the Great Awakening. Mm-hmm. I did know I was a healer and an alchemist. And a lot of the people in the collective are many different things. We have many different missions, and we're mushing them all together into our own little template, which is what you're doing. You're taking all these different pieces of things that you find pleasurable and joyful for you, and you're making it into your thing that you offer. Mm-hmm. And then I have all the little things that I enjoy doing. I love doing my dowsing work. I love doing my intuitive work. I love working with grab a void numbers and quantum healing codes and trapped emotions and biofield and And so I'm working in that way. And then I work with charts like that show different things. And so if I were to look at your cosmic chart, might take just a second, but I'll give you a real quick cosmic reading and we'll see if it tracks.
Ooh.
Yeah, because this is when I'm doing my work with my 6-week clients, we'll talk about past lives because we do a past life clearing. And so I'll give them a reading that talks about all their different past lives. When we're doing the ancestral clearing, I'll give them a soul contract reading and they can pick up to 5 names that are people that are close to them that they've probably had some sort of soul contract with, and to really understand and dig into why that relationship happened.
Oof,
and then and then we go through and we clear the autonomic nervous system, we look for heart walls, we look for subconscious blocks, and it's just a mush of stuff that I've collected over the years.
Beautiful.
So I found the chart. I'm going to do a real quick dowsing, and maybe I can put it right here. And then I'm not sure if the people who are just listening, a dowsing chart and a pendulum is how I do my work. And it's not really showing. I'm not going to be able to show it on camera. But let's look and see what Kelsey is. Okay, the first one, oh, fun. Okay, back to the cosmic and why you feel so starseeds. I think it's something to do with the amount of lifetimes that you've come in as a cosmic being from a different cosmetology versus there's a lot of people who have had many Earth lifetimes.
Yeah. I've thought this before. I agree with that a lot.
So Men in Black came up as a and they're actually powerful. There's the Pleiadian connection from Pleiades. Yeah.
My Pleiadian friends.
And the thing about my dowsing is oh, look, what's this? Hold on. This is cool. Are you Syrian too?
That tracks.
You're Syrian, Egyptian like me. Oh, of course we met. That's so cool.
That's dope. Yes.
I think a lot of the collective is Agarthan just came up for you.
Okay.
Okay, what's this one? I got Nomo from Sirius. Mare people. Nomo. I've never even heard of that before, so you can...
Are those water people?
I don't know. I've never heard of them. The work that I do, the interesting thing that I find with the work that I do is a lot of times I find stuff, I don't even know what it is.
That's cool.
And sometimes I feel like it shows up on the chart for that one person, and then it's not there anymore. It's the weirdest thing.
I believe that.
It's the weirdest thing. Because I go through charts that have over 25 different things. 25 different pages with hundreds of different numbers. And there's one more. Antarian from Antares Orion. Never heard of that one either.
Ooh, cool.
So, okay. So that's your little cosmic reading that I just did for you. And I hope that helps. What was I saying?
You were saying some starseed people that really resonate with starseed because they've incarnated many times in their cosmic self and not as many times as their earth self. And I was saying, yes, that fundamentally agree with that for me.
And then I also have heard that the ones that are very cosmic choose to come into this life and maybe not have the family and children like a lot of other people. And I don't know if that tracks with you or not. But I've worked with several, and one of them was a client's mom, and he sent her in for a Mother's Day reading, and he said, just do her reading and get her on track and da-da-da-da. So I did it, and then he called me later, and he's like, you might need to back off on the alien stuff a little.
That's
and
funny.
I said, I'm sorry, I can't help it if she's cosmic.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, we all are. It's just, and that's, I think the big thing is we just haven't remembered. We forgot. We all got wiped out. We forgot. And those of us who are waking up and understanding, well, we're all going to do it.
Yeah.
Mother Earth is raising her frequency, and it's going to happen to everybody. It's just a matter of, have you prepared for it or not?
Yeah, or how close is it to something you can accept? I will say two things. One, when I first heard of the word starseed was a mediumship reading I took my half sister. I'm only saying half, she's my sister, but she had some family members on her other side of the family that had passed I didn't know a lot about, but I wanted her to get this insight, and it was spot on. But the last 5 or so minutes of the mediumship reading, I said, hey, if you could pull in maybe one message from my spirit team, I would really appreciate that if you're okay with that. And she said, of course. And then she says, wow, they're very extraterrestrial. And this was a while ago. She like years and years ago. And she said, I normally wouldn't just drop in your guides, our ETs, and like shoot you out the door, but you can handle it. And everything in my being relaxed. It was like, oh, duh, there we go. My whole life makes sense now. So yeah, it was funny.
I love that.
The other thing I want to say is about the family thing. I'm 37 now.
Okay.
I've never wanted kids. Always known kids, not for me. I have tried to date unsuccessfully. I think I still might manifest a partner. I hope I do. I feel that's part of my soul plan. But yeah, it's like some interesting thing with some of our souls, like don't want to accumulate a ton of karma. And so I've been on my own solo for almost all my adult life.
Wow. Well, you know, we create it. So
Mm-mm.
I believe that if it's meant for me, it'll be. And I believe that for you too.
Yeah.
And you're open to it. So I love it. I love it all. We should probably wrap this up. Is there anything that you'd like to say, or can you tell people how they can get a hold of you? And we'll leave a link in the show notes. But any last final words?
Yeah. Final words, just love you all. I hope you all remain as authentic and expressive as you can be. The one gift I try to bring to the world, and I do bring to the world, is just to be as absolutely uniquely, joyfully authentic as possible. And I want that for anyone that comes across my energy. But yeah, way to find me, quantumselfacademy.com. Should have any other links to TikToks and things. I forget the exact handle of my TikTok. Quantum Barbie. You could Google Quantum Barbie TikTok and probably it would pop up, but that should be on quantumselfacademy.com. So find me there. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fascinating. You're awesome. I'm so grateful we connected.
Me too. I appreciate you, and keep putting your love and light out into the world.
You too.
Your magical being, and don't hang up. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Okay,
and,
bye guys.
We'll
Bye listeners. Love you.
Bye everybody.